Sorry, family. Had a lot of technical difficulties. I hope you guys can hear me out there now. Well, like I say, I had a couple of family members in the house in the garden tonight. Unfortunately, I was having technical difficulties. And I don't know whether it was a YouTube thing. I don't know what it was. But I could not get my volume to work on my laptop. And so I went ahead and did it on my phone. You did? So I'm waiting a couple minutes to see if anybody in the garden gonna come in and we can wrap. I would love to talk to you and see what's going on with you and see how you're doing. Make sure you leave some comments so I can read comments and see what's happening with you. Glad you guys got an opportunity to watch my last couple of videos. I just wanted to go live tonight because I just thought it's just a strange time right now. You know what I mean? It's a strange time. And, I speak about these things to, my close friends. And like I said, when you conscious, it's a lonely existence. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of people out here that think the way we do. And that's just not, believing and following the agendas that's going on right now. Like I said before, a lot of my videos have been struck. I've been on restriction a couple of times because of, things that I've said in my videos, which the only things I say in my videos is information that I get from mainstream or get from my research. I'm not writing this stuff. But I can say it's crazy. If you got a chance, watch my last video about Dave Chappelle. He put it in a nutshell. How is it that we all of a sudden got so sensitive? You can't talk about nobody. Certain individuals, get actually put on the shelf, or their videos are not being shown to a lot of their family members, because I hear a lot of my family members tell me, Beam, man, I'm trying to find you and I can't find you. And like I say, I've been on restriction about maybe 2 or 3 times. And so it's kind of crazy. But I just want to come today and just make sure that we understand this crazy time we're in right now. Pay yourself first, family. All right? Pay yourself first, because, right now they've told us that what's going on at the ports with all of those cargoes sitting out there with all of those goods and services in it, and no one is bringing it over to the stores. They letting you know we're not doing it. And us not doing it means we're going to raise prices. And so I don't know if you've been to stores lately, family, but it's a lot of people, suffering right now because of the prices of things that you get on an everyday basis is more than it was before. That's called inflation. I call it a tax. And I call it a tax because it's a tax that's, put on us by those that are in power. Like I say, 438 people decide how we live our lives. But they not living the same way we living. You dig? And I know y'all see that Dallas Cowboy hat looking so fly. So all you Cowboy haters out there, you know what I'm saying? Check yourself. Because y'all know what it is. You dig? But 438 people decide our fate. How is it that? And these are individuals that apparently supposed to be elected. Think about that for a minute, family. You got 438 congressmen. You got 100 senators, right? 2 per state. How is it that they living way better than we living? A public servant is not supposed to live better than the people they serving. That's just not how that's supposed to go. God, I've been teaching almost 20 years. And I ain't living like that because that's not my objective. My objective is to try to shape young men's and young women's lives, give them a different perspective on life. And so I try to tell them these things about what's going on in today. When they ask me, man, Coach, why stuff so high now? Well, I tell them, do your research and you'll see that they have all these cargoes sitting out there in the ports and not delivering them to the stores. Now, if you have 438 congressmen and 100 senators, you would think that would be the first thing they make sure they take care of. And like I say, the guy that's over transportation, the Secretary of Transportation, Buttigieg, he just got off maternity leave. And I don't know if you had a chance to watch my video. But the dude was on maternity leave and he's married to a man. And they had 2 kids. Now, I don't remember the last time a man have a baby. You did? But you taking a picture in the hospital? What? And so it's definitely propaganda. It's definitely an agenda that being pushed on us. And how is it that your objective isn't to make sure that these goods and services are going to the people they're supposed to get to? Because when it's not happening, family, that's why the prices of goods and services are going up. That's why I say pay yourself first. And think about this. These vaccine mandates, there are a lot of people that are losing their jobs. Actually, there's a football coach, I can't think what school, is a college coach. Him and 4 of his assistants was fired. I think they're in the state of Washington. They was fired because they didn't take the vaccine mandate. And now they're suing the school or suing the NCAA. Where are we? Where we're being forced to take a shot, a biological, that we don't even feel comfortable taking. I mean, so you're just going to force us to take it? When the recovery rate for people who get COVID is 99.9%. When has that ever been a pandemic? And like I say, like what Dave Chappelle said, not on his last special, but the special before that, when he mentioned how this opioid, heroin, methamphetamine crisis is a crisis now, and these individuals happen to be seen as, patients, like they're sick. But during the cocaine crack epidemic back in the 80s and 90s, all they said was, just say no. And shit, not my fault. And he was saying that's how he feel. But it's always something when the shoe is on the other foot. Because when during the 80s and 90s, during the crack epidemic, the government and law enforcement, they were arresting people that were drug addicts, mothers that were losing their children, fathers that were losing their families because they were sick. But now, this opioid crisis, it's a crisis. And now they want to help those that's, on these drugs. But back in the day, it didn't happen like that. See, that karma's something, family. That karma's something. And so you got to ask yourself, why is it that we are not taking control over our own resources and over our own finances? Now, what I mean by that? For them, and I know you guys probably watch mainstream, you watch the news. For the news, and family, news to me is north, east, west, and south. NEWS, because it doesn't matter what region you're located in, it's the same crap. The television is telling lies. telling the same stories, meteorologists saying the same stuff. So you got to know that north, east, west, and south, it's all lies. And they want you to believe, which the word believe has the word lie in it. They want you to believe the lies. And that's not how it's supposed to go. We're supposed to take control over our resources and take control over our finances. Because remember, we don't own nothing. When you have one individual own 550,000 acres of land, when you have 3 or 4 individuals in the United States that are trillionaires, but then you have unfortunate soldiers that go to war, and bless their heart. I give much love and much respect to the military vets, but it just breaks my heart that from a mental consciousness standpoint, they don't see that all they doing is joining the gang. Because what happens when you're in the gang? If you can no longer help that gang, they done with you. And so think about how they treat the veterans, the ones that's been fighting that 1,000-year war in the Middle East. And they come back over here, with PTSD, and they come back over here with, amputated limbs. And they come back here totally mentally distraught. And what happens to them? They can't even get a wheelchair. They can't even, VA loan? Dude, I'm gonna risk my life and all you're doing is giving me a loan? I'm just dropping salt and dropping some knowledge, because the salt I'm dropping is on a government and on a society and on an establishment that really have no love for the people that make up this establishment, that make up this society. And why don't they do that? Because we don't take control of our own resources and finances. You've heard them say, well, this might be a tough Christmas. This might be a tough holiday season because, we have all those cargoes out there in the ports and a lot of stuff will not get to the stores. And so it's going to be no, it's not going to be no. We don't need y'all. For them to say, unless you're vaccinated, you can't come into our stores. You can't come into our establishment. Okay, guess what? If we don't go into your establishment, you don't have an establishment. But hedonism and this brave new world mentality, if you haven't read the book, The Brave New World, please read it by a guy named Huxley. It's going to blow you away. And the book by, I can't think his name, but it was 1984 was the name of the book. And this when the government just said, hey, do what we say, and any dissenters or anybody talking bad about the government, we're going to send you to their room, period. So they basically use fear to control the masses. But see, the Brave New World, it used hedonism. It used the illusion of freedom and an illusion of privileges. How? Cell phones, flat screen TVs, nice cars, homes, okay? So-called luxuries. And people think when they have that, they winning. When in actuality, why we're spending all our money on those items, they still going back door on us. Still not allowing those that are 65 and older to live a comfortable life. Think about this for a minute. How are you going to say Social Security may not be there in 2031 or 2033? Are you serious? That's your money. And no one say nothing about it? Or the fact that there's a religion called Catholicism and they known for raping little boys. They're known for having priests that's done been pedo priests. I call them pedo priests, not pedophiles. I call them pedo priests. And nothing happens to them. But Bill Cosby and R. Kelly go to prison. What? But right here in France, I don't know if you've seen the news, right here in France, they say it's over 300,000 kids, young boys, have been molested and sexually assaulted by like 3,000 priests. Why isn't this a story? Why aren't these guys put in prison? Because last I checked, I used to work for CPS. If you do certain things, your kids, you go to jail. But a religion that's supposed to be teaching faith and God and all that kind of stuff, raping kids, and people still go to those churches. And the highest member of this religion says he's sending his hopes and prayers, to the victims. What? Not we're going to make sure that all these priests are arrested and convicted of the crimes they committed. None of that. Hopes and prayers. Okay? So pay yourself first, family. And I don't see why I can't see comments. Let's see here. Can I see comments? I can't see comments, family. Wow. I would love to interact with you guys to see where your mind's at. But I was having some technical difficulties. And I will see the comments once I get off the live. But I would like to interact with you, organically, like now. And so what I'm going to do, my next live, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I take care of that volume technical difficulty so we can interact with each other. But I want you also to understand that, we have to take control of our resources, family. We can't have, industries tell us that, well, you can't come into my store or my establishment unless you're vaccinated. I tell you what, we won't come in there. Let's shut them down. I mean, who are they? You know what I mean? It's mental slavery, family. To believe in politics, religion, and to believe in this indoctrination system that we call education, because I'm telling you, any educational system that's not preparing young people to be able to sustain, it's not an educational system. I mean, back in the day, I can say the educational system was a little bit more important because they had vocational education. Those that wasn't that academically inclined but could learn a skill to make their lives better, i.e. mechanics, healthcare, cosmetology, engineering, welding, electrical work, heating, ventilation, AC, things that we know people have to sustain in a society that they don't have to go to college for. Now our education system is teaching our kids about gender neutrality, teaching our kids about all type of things that, as a parent, I find it repulsive. But it is what it is. You dig? So that's why we got to take control of our own resources and our finances, family. It's the only way it's going to work. All right? Like I said, I just want to come and throw a little food for thought out there, fam. I want to go live tonight. I want to go live on my laptop, but I was having some technical difficulties on the volume, and I really like to interact with the family. But like I said, I'm doing this on my phone right now, but I am going to come live again on my laptop, but I'm going to make sure that I have the volume capability to do it. I don't know what's happening tonight, but, it is what it is. But I just wanted to drop some jewels on, what's going on today. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, no way 438 people should be deciding the fate of 330 million when over 300 million are struggling and they're not struggling. The average person's Social Security is taxed. Pensions are being threatened, but they good. That's not it's not conducive to a society that's supposed to be a democratic republic. Those terms are just ludicrous. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Get out of here with that. That's crap. Okay? It's the haves and have-nots. And the have-nots have not recognized the power that people have. Because if we recognize the power we had, I promise you, we wouldn't be having those people in office like that. And that's why I always felt they were selected instead of elected. There's no way you have cats like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell. Those guys they like dinosaurs. How they still in office and they're in like 70s, 80s? Who do they relate to? Writing all the laws so they know all the times that companies are going to be coming out with certain things that they can invest in and make them more and more money. If you watch the television, you watch these movies, you see how many times, quote unquote, congressmen and senators are crooked. I mean, it's not an enemy of the state, the shooter. So many of these movies that actually depict congressmen as crooked individuals. It's not by accident. You know what I mean? So, all right, I just want to come back with a little food for thought. I hope you guys make sure you leave some comments in the comment section, and I'm definitely gonna read them. I'm definitely gonna respond to them, and love you guys. And in the meantime, between time, may the Most High Inside bring you joy, and being with us out of 5,000.